My name is Robert Shawhan, and today I'm going to quickly demonstrate a real-world example of drawing using the iPad. In this case, I'm going to simply create a pocket with a button associated with it. First thing to do is set an appropriate scale size. Notice that it's set to inches, which is appropriate, and we'll zoom out a little bit. The top of the pocket is about 5 3/16 inches. You could actually set the scale or set the dimension precisely. We're not going to do that, we're just going to do this very quickly. And it's roughly square. At any point we could actually just go in there and type in the actual value and make it so it's exactly the dimension we're looking for. Once we've created the outline of our pocket, we need to put the corners down at the bottom. You can drop the arc in there. Again, we could actually go in and change that dimension and put that to something like, we'll change it to 7/8 of an inch return. Okay. We now have our two corners. To delete lines and to actually connect this up appropriately, all we have to do is go to our lines mode, double tap, and then select the endpoints. Now notice I made a mistake there, and the preferred method is just to back it out. It was also a very small line if we look at it. It'd be very hard to delete that small line, but to back it out it's just hitting the button. So we'll create our line. So you notice you're nervous, makes it more interesting. Okay. And we'll just go around and we'll create the rest of our outside line. So now we have a completely connected and correctly connected, right? So we can actually go in and show between the points on. We can see that we have the right number of points, we have the right number of lines. There's no extra data that's on the screen. Now in this case we have a seam that goes inside. So what we're going to do to create that seam is we'll grab one of our lines, we'll change it to a guideline, excuse me, grab that again, we'll create a guideline right on top of it, and then what we'll do is we'll select the line and offset it. So we're going to offset it in this direction, which is 180 degrees, and we'll offset it by 1/4 of an inch. 180 degrees, return, duplicate lines. We'll do this as we go around the perimeter. So we'll grab this line, it's going to be 90 degrees, and it's, oh, sorry, missed one step there. We'll go ahead and put our guideline on top of it, select our guideline, notice it's nice and orange, and then we'll set that also 1/4 of an inch, and we'll set that at 90 degrees. Duplicated offset, see our second line, and then continuing around the geometry, create our guideline and move our guideline to where it's 1/4 of an inch, and this is going to be 0, and make sure you put in a 0 and not an O. Duplicate lines. Close. So we want to create our points, so we'll go ahead and grab our lines. Grab the wrong line in that case, back up, grab that line. So now we hit points, and now we have points at all our appropriate intersections. We can get rid of our guidelines and go ahead and create, oops, see, it's kind of hard to get in there at that one point. There we go. And last but not least. Okay, and we're going to create the same arc that we had before. Right. Try that again. Okay, and trim up our lines. And we'll get rid of the other guidelines for good measure. In this case, we want this to be a different line type, so we'll just grab those lines, and then we'll just change our line type. It did have a button, so we'll go ahead and add that button. I'd already created it as an example. Here, drop it in, then we can move it into position wherever we need it to be.